Comic Book Savant Extra, episode 21. Welcome back to Comic Book Savant Extra. I'm your host, James Harris. This is the Patreon special feed podcast that I do for everyone that contributes to the Patreon to help support the show, which I greatly appreciate every single one of you guys. I do apologize for not having this episode out last week. I posted on the Patreon to send out a message to you guys that, I had a problem with my air conditioning in my apartment. Totally was out air conditioning for like 2 whole days. It was kind of crazy. It was like last week was a crazy week, and, we all experience different things in life, but I'm telling you, it was challenging between air conditioning breaking down. My mouse went out on me on my iMac, and I had to go replace that, and that was not cheap either. It was just like one thing after another, which was just like a funny series of events because I was so keyed up to try to work to get ahead last week, and the complete opposite happened. I actually kind of fell behind, but I got all the little situations resolved for the most part. So trying to get caught back up. So I'm going to try my best to get back on track with the Comic Books Extra episodes, you guys. I'm aiming to do 2 this week, but in between that, filming videos for the YouTube channel and the regular podcast as well. I think I can do it. I'm going to try my best to get it done. So you'll get this episode today, and you'll probably get another one before or by the weekend, by Saturday is my hope. So that's what I'm aiming to do to then get back on a regular schedule with these episodes. And again, I do appreciate you guys being patient with me. So with all that out the way, this is going to be the 3rd episodes of Recommended Reads. So this is basically just an episode where I kind of randomly pick a topic in my head and try to either recommend certain books or particular series. And I decided to go with some short run books. Because it's a lot of books that came out and had, short runs and that were very impactful books. And I was actually inspired by a video I saw on YouTube on one of the series that they recommended. It was kind of funny to me because I've talked about this in previous content that I've done on the podcast. That's where I talked about, with the inundation of all the comic book movies, it's a big influx from when I started researching. Whenever I do anything, I try to research it thoroughly. So about a year ago now, roughly, or a little over a year, probably around 13, 14 months ago, when I started doing my first videos on YouTube, I kind of did research on what was out there in the comic book genre. And just in that 14 months or so, I just see it, it's an inundation of comic book YouTuber channels. It's a small niche in the overall greater scheme of what's out there on YouTube. And it was so funny on the review. This guy has a very big follower, and I'm not following, and I'm not going to say any names. He has a couple of thousand subscribers, way more than me. But he was talking about this series, and he clearly knew nothing about it. He was like, I read this before years ago, and it kind of infuriated me because I've read it and I've reviewed it, and talked about it before, and I thought it was a really good series. And he was like, it would be nice if they had done a sequel. And I'm like, I'm watching the video and I'm getting infuriated because I'm like, it was a sequel to the series, and the whole nine. But I just got infuriated, and it triggered me on, I was like, I need to do for recommended reads, short run things, little things that I've enjoyed, series that I enjoyed, that I think very fondly of, that I can recommend to you guys, because I was made aware in this video that they had a new collection. The series was collected in 3 trades previously, but they did a one massive trade that collects the whole series. So I was like, so it kind of sparked me in my mind to do, some shorter run books that you guys could pick up in either one massive collection and collect the whole series, or, less than 5 or 6, books. Something that you can get your hands on real quick, read, and that you would enjoy and you would like to keep around. So that was kind of where the premise for this episode came from. So the book that I'm going to speak on first, which is the one that this guy was trying to review, but you could clearly tell in his review he never read it, was Avengers Arena. This was a series that Marvel did back in 2012, 2013. It was kind of at the height of the Hunger Games kind of, popularity. And what was it? What was the manga or anime it was based off of? It's escaping me now, but they even mimicked the cover from it. I can't remember what it was, but it's basically what you're familiar with from kind of like the Hunger Games. These different heroes pulled from. It was Runaways. Avengers Academy, like those series had kind of wrapped up. They threw in like some new warriors in there. They just had random teenage, level heroes that they really weren't doing much with at the time, and they kind of threw them in this battle royale. Bam! It hits me right when I say it. And they're like battle royale style, and they're pitted against each other by arcade to fight against one another to the death. And it's definitely some deaths in the book. It's very impactful, very good book. Marvel was capitalizing kind of off of Battle Royale and Hunger Games popularity at the time and kind of did a book. It was written by Dennis Hopeless. The artwork was done by Kev Walker. It was an 18-issue series. It was really fun. It was collected in 3 trades, but now they just released by Avengers Arena, the complete collection trade paperback where you get the whole series out there. I'll have links to it on the website in the bookshelf section. And please, if you are so inclined, if you choose to buy anything that I recommend on this episode, or not even on this episode or anything I have in the bookshelf section, please click on that Amazon link and purchase something. I got another notice from them. If I don't get, it's like you only need to get 3 sale requirement. And I told you guys I'm the worst salesman ever because I'm just a content creator, but it's like I have to do some of these things. So to maintain my status or actually get solidified or verified to keep my Amazon affiliate status, I need to get 3 sales within the next month, I think. So if there's anything you want to buy that's comic book related or something I recommended comic book related, please click on one of those links on the website in the bookshelf section and buy something from one of my Amazon links so I can get credit for it towards it. I get a small percentage of the sale. So it helps me because you're buying something you want, and it helps me because I get credit for it for this thing. It's a silly requirement, but I try to put those links in there just so these things I talk about, if you guys are like, hey, I do want to pick that up, I have links to it all. And I try to go in when I put it up on the website, I put links for the physical copy and digital copy as well, if they have it available. So I try to find, if you're partial to one or the other, it's available. So that's my sales pitch in the whole there. So please click on one of those links and buy a book. You can even buy a cheap one. I don't care. I just need the sale to get the credit. So I don't have to but basically what happens, I've tried it before. I didn't really push it, and they'll immediately approve you. You have so long to make the required 3 sales. If you don't, they boot you from the program. You then have to wait so many months, and then you can reapply, and you keep going through the process. So if I can get it done this time, I won't have to worry about it. And that would be a blessing because, just as time goes, people click on stuff and pick it up, I'll get whatever. Even if it's not much, any little bit helps. So if you can, I appreciate it. But back to the message at hand, which is Avengers Arena. So like I said, it's real fun. Well, let me not say that. It's different because you're not kind of trapped in the constraints with the normal characters. They use these characters kind of as cannon fodder, and they kind of just let loose, and you see a lot of deaths. You see a lot of teen angst and romance and stuff like that all mixed into one. Dennis Hopeless is a really good writer. I really like his stuff. Kev Walker, I like his artistic style. It's consistent throughout. And here's the thing: I knew the Avengers Academy kids that they brought into the series because Avengers Academy was just kind of ending, and they really hadn't had too many plans what to do with those characters, so they threw some of them in. So I was very familiar. I never read Runaways, so I learned about the Runaway characters through this series, and I knew, because they pulled characters from the last iteration they had done of the New Warriors and the late 2000s. It was a few years before, so maybe like 2006 through 2009-ish. I know Kevin Giroux, he was writing that New Warrior series, so they pulled those characters. So I knew the origin base of the New Warriors from when they first launched, like in the 90s. So I knew some of the characters, like Nighthawk was in the series, things like that. I knew some of the characters, some of them I didn't. So what familiarized me with that younger generation of Marvel kind of heroes that they weren't doing a lot with, thrown in this with some adult themes. It really showed Arcade in a different light. I always thought he was kind of a laughable villain. They really upped his game and showed how dangerous he could really be. So it was really effective. It was only 18 issues. It struck a chord with me. It was really good and solid. It didn't get a lot of fanfare, but it was a good book, so it's worth picking this up into one collection. Now, they did have a follow-up series a year later, which was Avengers Uncovered. I read half of the series, and I got to read the other half. It's only 10 issues. They brought the same creative team back. It's Dennis Hopeless and Kev Walker. And again, it's a 10-issue series. They do have the complete collection for this coming out. You can pre-order it now through Amazon. It comes out November 13th of this year, so you would have to wait a little bit. But you can either get it in the complete collection or you can get it in the 2 trades. The 2 trades you can get relatively cheap, but why take up the extra space when you just pre-order it? Just have 2 volumes to get both the original series and the sequel series all in one. But the premise around Avengers Undercover is that the survivors from the first series, they kind of have made it out of murder world that Arcade had them in, and you see the effects of what they went through. Kind of, they have PTSD, and it's just affecting them in various ways, and they decide to go undercover to confront Arcade, and then craziness ensues from there. That's all I'm going to say without trying to spoil anything at all. Like I said, I read the first 5 issues. I got the other half. I just never finished reading out the series, which I need to do that so I can talk about it or review it at some point. But you can get, like I said, you can get the complete collection, or I also will have on the website as well the links to physical and digital links to where you can pick up Volume 1. It's Avengers Uncovered Volume 1 Descent, and Avengers Undercover Volume 2 Going Native are the 2 volumes. And like I said, the complete Avengers Uncovered complete collection is coming out November 13th. So you can pre-order that now to go ahead and lock that in and just get that when that comes out. I don't know why they're doing these 2 softcover collections. Will they ever do like a omnibus? Because that's it's roughly 20 some odd issues, 20, 30 some odd issues. Will they ever just do an omnibus of it all together? I don't know, or even like a massive softcover edition. It's so weird, and all the companies now, it seems like they're playing with different formats, how they're collecting some of these lesser known series. I don't know if they would ever do it in a hardcover, because I don't even think the original ones were ever hardcover. They were all just trade paperbacks, not any hardcover versions were released of this particular series of Avengers Arena or Avengers Uncovered. Everything I've ever seen were just trades. But it's a good series you can pick up relatively cheap. not too many issues. Like I said, less than 30 issues, or around 30 issues to read, and you get a whole complete story spanning, like I said, 2 different stories with all the same characters and with a straight continuation on it. So, and I can highly recommend it. It's very good. And is this something, like I said, that's different from what you normally get in a Marvel universe, because characters are dying. It is direct consequences for actions that are going on in this series. So you that's a twofer for there. I'm talking about a total of 4 books, but it's, for this particular pick, is 2 in 1 because they're connected. The next book I want to talk about is Checkmate. It came out, it was published from 2006 to 2008 for DC Comics. Checkmate it's basically DC's version of S.H.I.E.L.D., but the twist on it is that it's a government organization that has a very particular. Well, you know what? Let me say this: Checkmate isn't necessarily like S.H.I.E.L.D. because it's a little bit different. It's connected to the UN, and how it's connected is that it has a particular structure. Like the name states, it's kind of with chess. It has a particular structure where you have one metahuman paired with a human operative. So it's like a politician with an operative. And Checkmate was ran by Amanda Waller, and you had like a knight and a queen, and you had what were the operatives were like? They weren't pawns, but they were king and queens and knights and something else. Like, I can't remember. It's been a little while since I read it, so I can't remember the exact breaking down. It's kind of complex, but basically how it is paired off a human with a metahuman, and they were like kind of more of a black ops, or so like they were kind of like special ops. They were like a special ops unit, but they were connected politically, like through the UN, kind of like what they did a little later in not New 52. I was going to say Rebirth, but in New 52, what they did with the Justice League International. If you read the original Justice League International series, they did in the New 52. International was directly connected to the UN towards the end of the series, so they kind of broke away because they were tired of being kind of manipulated. It was a similar kind of setup with Checkmate, but it was a smaller, like I said, black ops, special ops kind of organization with this unique structure to it. It was written by Greg Rucka. It was also, the artwork was done by Jesus Saez, which I talked about a couple of episodes, a couple of podcasts ago. I was talking about his work on Doctor Strange. And this is another book where I got familiar with his artwork on. Greg Rucka did issues 1 through 26, if I remember correctly. He left the book after 26. They tried to continue it on. It kind of like flopped then. And again, these are very unique books where it wasn't too much fanfare with them at the time they were coming out. The biggest thing on it was Greg Rucka was writing the book, but it was a more cerebral book, and it was, if you're not like heavy into like James Bond espionage type stuff, if you don't like the kind of spy thrillers, like Bourne Identity, those kind of things, it's in that kind of vibe and world. If you don't like that kind of tone of book, then it's not for you. But if you like that political suspense thriller, the best way I can break it down, think of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, the movie, but think about that vibe, that political kind of genre thriller in a comic book is basically what this Checkmate book was, till he left, and then it totally kind of went off the rails, and they did something. And then, like I said, it only made it 5 more issues before they just flat out canceled the book. And he really haven't done anything with Checkmate since. But they were created many, many years ago. And I think they had a comic sometime in the 80s or 90s originally, before they Rucka tried to revitalize it. Like I said, in 2006 to 2008. You can get this collected in... It's a few things going on. If you want the whole series, is 3 books you would have to buy. It's Checkmate by Greg Rucka Book 1 and Checkmate by Greg Rucka Book 2. And that collects all the 26 issues that he's on. And then you can also get Checkmate Chimera. And that is the issues 27 through 31, the ones that he didn't write that led up to the cancellation of the book, which is like totally, I felt like a departure from what he was doing with the book. But if you're a completionist and you wanted all 31 issues of the Checkmate story, you can get it. You really just can buy Greg Rucka Book 1 and 2 and you're good, which is what I did. And you can get his whole series because it was best when he was writing it. And again, so it's only 31 issues. You can get the whole series collected in 3 books. Again, with the Avengers Arena, Avengers Uncovered, you can get that whole complete story if you're willing to wait till November in two books. And this one, again, you can get in 2 or 3. 3 if you're a completionist, 2 if you just want good reading material. You can get knocked out in 2 books, which is always awesome. And last but not least, the spotlight, the book I really want to spotlight in this episode is 100 Bullets. I love this series. It's a Vertigo series. It's one of the series that really sold me on Vertigo when I first started podcasting, and I was listening to a lot of other comic book podcasts for different things to read out of my comfort zone because, like I've always stated in the podcast over the years, when I was a kid, I was limited on what I could buy. So it was mainly DC and Marvel because it was what I could find on spinner racks in the one little gas station that sold comics in the small town that I lived in back in North Carolina. So we only bought Marvel, DC. We didn't get Vertigo. I didn't, I was in high school and had to drive, a half an hour to the next closest town to get one rinky-dink comic shop that I could start dabbling in stuff. And that's where I started dabbling like an Image. So it was only really as I got older and I kind of moved out of the small area and start moving into some bigger cities in North Carolina that it was like I start getting like exposed to like proper comic shops where I could really start expanding my horizon, and I even expanded even more once I started podcasting and I could order things online and start being exposed more to digital comics and stuff that I could really start reading stuff. So this was the one book that pulled me into the Vertigo imprint, which is a DC imprint, but it's their like kind of their creator owned kind of adult line of books. This is written by Brian Azzarello. Artwork is done by Eduardo Riso. And again, it's 100 Bullets. It is 100 issues. It's issues 1 through 100 of 100 Bullets. So this is the biggest of the short run books, but still that's not a huge commitment. They have the whole series pretty much collected. Now I made a mistake, and I haven't finished reading the series as a whole. I am I bought the trades. The trades is I think it's collected in 13 trades, and I think I've read up to the trade 9. I think I'm at trade 9, and it's 13 of them. I would get them as I could, and I wait normally till they go on sale, and I get them digitally. But what I've learned is that after the trades had came out, then what DC did, they started doing these deluxe editions, which collects the series in a larger format where you get more issues in the format. And if you find them, I think if you buy them in a store, they have them in hardcover and or soft cover. But these deluxe editions, they instead of collecting like 6 issues, which you get with the trades, it's like let me see. Now I'm pulling it up to see how many issues specifically are covered in here. So you get almost 20 issues. Yeah. So in the deluxe volume, you can get it in hardcover or paperback. So in volume 1, in the deluxe edition, you get issues 1 through 19, where the first trade is literally like, so you double up in trades pretty much. So these deluxe editions, if you get it digitally, hardcover or paperback, you're gonna be buying half the books you would if you got them in just the trades. You're getting more issues per per volume. So it is in the deluxe editions. It's 100 bullets. Deluxe editions volumes 1 through 5 that collects the whole series. That's the way I highly recommend you doing it. Like I said, no matter how you get it, that's the best way because it's the smallest number of books that you have to seek out and find. And then they did a sequel after it with one of the main characters, which is 100 Bullets' brother Luno. It was a sequel mini-series that they did, and I think it's either 6 or 8 issues. Let me look here. It was an 8 issue. That's right. It was 8 issues. So it's an 8 issue series. So it would be 6 books in total to get the whole 100 Bullets saga, which again is still not a lot. You would get a lot more if you're collecting an ongoing series. So like 6 books that you would have to pick up. And like I said, I've been loving this series from the beginning. I normally review each one of the individual trades as I read through them. I lost steam because I think I had them all physically. Then when I got rid of all my comics and my trades and everything, I had to rebuild my collection, and then it was trying to find them all digitally. And I was getting them as I saw them on sale to look for bargains to kind of get them. And I finally, like maybe a month or 2 ago, got the last the trade 12 and 13 to finish off the collection. So I just need to read the last 4 trades to finally finish up the series. But like I said, I'm heavily invested because, like I said, I'm 8 trades in, 8 trades read. So is that right? 5 more to read. So I have 5 more to read to finish the series. So I'm coming down the finish line now. So I eventually will review those. This is if you're not if you're not familiar with Brian Azzarello's writing, he's street crime, gritty writer. I mean, he's elevated as a writer, and he's done so much stuff. He has Batman Damned out right now for what is it? DC Black, their new adult imprint. He's gotten a lot of press about the full frontal nudity on Batman, that situation going on that was written or drawn in his book. And he had a historic run on Wonder Woman in the New 52, and the New 52 kicked off him with Cliff Chang, and that was an epic run. He's done some writing on like Batman. He's done 100 Bullets. He's done some other Vertigo work. I think he has some independent stuff as well. I think it's what is called Redneck. I want to say, is it Redneck? Yeah, but he has some independent stuff over like an Image and stuff. He's a phenomenal writer. He's one of my favorite writers in all the comics, and he's evolved. But this is just like gritty, crime, drama, action. This is not for kids. This is definitely for adults only type material here. I'm trying to think of something that I can compare it to, far as like a movie or a show or something, and maybe like the NYPD Blue, but the criminal version of it, or New York Undercover, like Miami Vice, but it's from like a more of a it has some mystery in it. It has some action. John Wick. It's on those kind of vibe of like shows and movies. When I think about 100 Bullets, 100 Bullets is unique all into itself, but it has some John Wick kind of vibes to it. As far as the action, the over the topness of the action, the fight scenes, the killing. It's very familiar to what you've seen on screens with the John Wick movies at this point. But just a really good series. Again, some very different stuff, varied stuff that, like I said, that you can get with minimal effort and a small number of books to have to seek out to get a whole complete story that is going to take you on quite a bit of a journey. And they're all varied because, Avengers, Avengers Arena and Avengers Uncovered is kind of teen angst, but it's still in that superhero kind of world and dynamic, and with those kind of rules with superheroes and supervillains. Then you have the more political, metahuman, espionage, spy thriller vibe with Checkmate, and then you have something like 100 Bullets, which is like street crime, John Wick, like crazy action. So they're, separated very much so. So they're very much different from what you're going to probably be reading day in and day out. That is really fun, exciting reads with top-notch writing on all the books, top-notch artwork on all the books, and great presentation. So they're definitely worth the time and the effort to seek out and to pick up, and I think you would really enjoy them. That is all I have for you guys for this episode of Comic Book Savant Extras recommended reads. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next time for another episode. And let me know if you pick any of these books up, and if you've already read them, how you feel about them. You can message me through Patreon, or you can always email me at comicbooksavant.com@gmail.com, or just go to comicbooksavant.com and just click on the Contact Us page, and you can just type an email right from the website. And if you are so inclined, like I said, go check out the bookcase link on the website, and click on one of those links to click on the Amazon affiliate link to buy any of these books if you consider buying them, so I can get credit for that to keep my affiliate status with Amazon. I would greatly appreciate it. That's all I have for you guys. Again, I'm going to push my hardest to get another episode of Comic Book Savant Extra out by this weekend, so be on the lookout for that. Like I said, I should be out. If I can get it done, it'll be out by Saturday. And I will see you guys next time. You have a good week, and I'll see you soon.